Winkler.
Thousands of people walking through downtown Omaha for an annual event, but with a slightly different view.
Construction in Omaha, is it changing the Berkshire Hathaway experience? Well, Sydney Babb talked with visiting shareholders, both new and returning, to find out.
One of Omaha's major tourist events is here, and crowds have traveled from other states and countries. Some shareholders new and some old, but something they've all noticed: the construction.
Oh, it feels like every year I've come here, there's been a lot of construction in Omaha.
Construction from Eppley Airfield to downtown and the Capital District. Bob Kaplan has been coming to the shareholder meetings since 1987, nearly 40 years.
I remember back in the day when they were working on the interstate, and it just seemed like the projects would take forever around here.
But has that construction done anything to deter tourists?
I don't mind. We don't mind.
Brian Carrington and his fiancée are visiting for the first time from Alabama. They say it's nothing they haven't experienced at home.
Birmingham is constantly upgrading and improving the interior of the city of Birmingham. So we're accustomed to, changes right through major construction.
Gene Manning, another first-time visitor, said the same thing about his city.
Well, we're from Florida, so there's construction all the time. So we're kind of used to it.
And most seem to think shareholders and Berkshire fans will travel from anywhere and through anything, even a bit of Omaha construction.
I think the people that want to come to the Berkshire meeting are pretty motivated. I don't think construction's going to stop them.
Of course, it's always better with less construction, but it's been okay.
It would not keep us away.
No.
It appears to be a very, very nice city.
But a few had one question when looking ahead to their visit for next year.
When will it be completed?
In Omaha, I'm Sydney Babb, First Alert 6.
Well, as most in Omaha know, the construction completion depends on what project you're talking about. For major ones that tourists have noticed, like Eppley Airfield and downtown streetcar work, most of it won't be wrapped up until 2028. If you're looking to get around Omaha, First Alert 6 traffic reporter Jarrett Lansford has a helpful guide. It's on our website, firstalert6.com. Well, our